Thank you. Well, thank you. Well, good evening. It's an honor to be here speaking to the honors forum here. I asked my wife yesterday, thinking, kind of preparing for all this, what can you say to 100 and some people whose all ACT scores are probably higher than mine? and it's humbling to be here. When I came, as Dr. Steinbeck said, when I came here to Eastern, proud graduate of Eastern, either there wasn't an honors college or I never heard of it. I obviously didn't get invited to it. And it's not that my grades were so bad, it's just that yours were also good. And you represent the best from the schools that you've come from. We have high expectations for all of you. And I hope that when we finish this evening that maybe I can share a couple words of wisdom with you, some things that you can take to heart and think about and say, you know what, yeah, that makes sense. I learned a new word tonight already, it's eclectic. It's okay to be smart. For several years, in fact for 11 years, I helped run a math science program here on campus for the Illinois Math and Science Academy. And we had some of the brightest students from across the state of Illinois come in and spend a week to 2 weeks here. And I remember at the end of one of the programs talking to one of the mothers as the parents came in to pick up the children, and talking to one of the mothers, and the mother was in tears. And she said, she took me aside, she said, I just want to thank you for the program that you have here, because my son told me, Mom, the last 2 weeks I found out it's okay, it's cool to be smart. It's cool to be smart. Because where he was, in the school that he was, you know, he's one of the brightest students there. And as many of you probably have heard, that may not be appreciated by all of the friends and contacts that you have. Maybe there's a little jealousy there, whatever. Well, she was just so satisfied and taken back, and it just meant a lot to him because he was surrounded by people who were very, very bright, very creative, and he finally just really felt like he fit in. You've sacrificed, you've worked hard, you passed on lots of parties and lots of invitations to things to get those grades up, to get those scores up, and to be recognized. And now you're reward, and you're enjoying that. And with that, with what you've been given, there's also great responsibility, and that's what you carry with you now. I am an Eastern graduate, a very proud graduate of this great institution, and I came here for two reasons. The first reason was because there was this really good-looking brunette with the long hair there from Altamont, Illinois, who I knew was going to be going to school at Eastern, and that's why I wanted to come here, because I wanted to meet her, and we were going to get married and spend our lives together. You believe that? Yeah, she didn't buy that either. But it is true. And that is my wife, Rita. We met here as freshmen. And that is our claim to fame on the front of the Eastern catalog back in 1973. That's really old. In fact, the hair is, I wish I still had that much hair, and I wish I didn't. I wish I had those fewer pounds as in the picture. But that was actually, I guess, one of two reasons, and one of the best things that I've taken, the best thing I've taken from the university here is that I found my wife here. The second reason I came here, I came from Chicago. Actually, technically, I came from Homewood. Have anyone from Homewood? Homewood Flossmoor? Vikings? Go Vikings. All right. Well, there was real simple. There's a train station in Homewood, and there's a train station in Mattoon. And I did not have a car. So where was I going to go to school? It's solved. I was accepted here at Eastern and rode Amtrak back and forth for 4 years, usually sitting on my suitcase along with students from U of I and from Southern. We all had breaks at the same time. We'd all get on the same time. It was always crowded. It'd always break down somewhere around Onarga for about 2 hours. Always come in late. And I was somehow able to always get a ride somehow from Mattoon back to Charleston. But, you know, those little things that make a huge difference in your life. You know, just, you know, the train station, because it was close. My best friend went to Western. I came here. And I, you know, really kind of torn, but it came down to that decision, and I never, ever have regretted it. My chemistry teacher in high school, when I opened up the book, his name was in the front. And under his name said Eastern Illinois University. I thought, wow, that must be a great place. I never heard of Eastern. I never heard of Charleston. I know what it's like. I'm from Chicago. After Kankakee comes Kentucky and Tennessee, right? That was kind of our mindset up there. But we found out how great of a place this was. And, you know, and his name was there. It said Eastern. I thought he wrote the book. Well, he was a reviewer for the book, but I was pretty impressed. And I thought, well, he's a great teacher. It must be a great school. So that's where I want to go. I did not come here as an education major. I came here as a pre-med major. And we'll talk a little bit about changing majors later, because many of you haven't. That's okay to do that. In fact, my entire family went to school here, my wife, our children. I think we totaled somewhere around 25 to 30 relatives that all have gone to school here. Within our own family, every one of us graduated with a degree other than what we came here for, because we found something else that really sparked even more of an interest, and that's the area that we pursued. Things were a lot different back in 1969, 1970, way back then. Are you ready for this? Women had hours. You had to be in the dorm during the week by 10 o'clock, and the doors were locked at that point. And if you were not in the room by 10 o'clock, doors locked, you were in major trouble with the RA and the resident counselor there. To go down to eat lunch on Sunday in the residence hall, guys had to have a coat and tie on, girls had to have a dress on. That's the truth. No such thing as co-ed dorms. No, those did not exist. In fact, once a month, there was visitation where the girls could go into the guys' dorm, guys could go into the girls' dorm. Doors had to be open, and the RAs patrolled in the hallways, back and forth. This sounds like the Stone Age. We had no cable in our rooms, no cable TV, so we didn't have any of those things, obviously way before, you know, the internet access, all that. And the most significant thing about that we didn't have back then in Charleston is when I came here is you had to drive to Effingham to get a Big Mac, because there was no McDonald's here. So when the McDonald's finally came to Charleston, we thought, man, we have arrived. We're the big city now. Now we even have a Starbucks, so now we're really, really big city. I lived in Stevenson Tower. Lived there for, anyone here in Stevenson? Well, I guess that's not that was, by then freshmen could go in Stevenson. And that was quite an experience, because I was given a senior roommate, 3 juniors, and one sophomore that were in our suite. We were in a suite set up over there. And you talk about an education quickly. I mean, when you're a freshman and your roommate's a senior, wow, I wasn't ready for all that education, but it was a growing experience for me. And we lived in Stevenson Tower. And I guess the one thing I can think, we did crazy things, nutty things. We made 5th floor Stevenson disappear one night, like a magic trick. Now, how did we do that? Well, happened to be taking an art class at the time and had to paint. And one of the fellows in the dorm was going to go out and kind of party that night. So we decided we're going to kind of teach him a lesson. So as soon as he left, we got our paints out and we changed 5A on the door to 6A. Oh, by the way, don't do this. I am not going to be responsible for you being booted out of the university. But we changed 5A to 6A, and 5B to 6B, and everything was changed to 6. In fact, the elevator opened up. We said, oh, hold it. Painted on. The guys on the elevator thought, what are they doing? Changed it to 6 on the side, door closed. Then we went back in our suite and we waited. The elevator opened up. Here's some cursing. You hear, go down the 4th floor. downstairs. It was 4th floor. Come back up. It was 6th floor. Back 4th floor. There was no 5th floor at Stevenson. It was gone. It had like vaporized for one evening. Finally, the RA came to our door. I don't know why. I guess he figured we were the ones to do it. But he said, okay, guys, put it back. Put it back. So I get the paint out and put it all back. I had great instructors when I was here. So many. I hesitate to start naming them because I know I'm going to leave some out, and they were all so good, and they meant so much to me. But I remember one particular one, and this one, the longer it's been since then, the greater impact this has on me for what he did. And this was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Kepler, and he was my genetics teacher. And I got a call in my residence hall room one afternoon. This is Dr. Kepler. I want to see you in my office first thing tomorrow morning. Found out, sat down with him, takes out my latest genetics test, which I did not do very well on. He said, you know, this kind of concerned me. This is not like you, and I just want to know what's going on. Well, we had a fraternity thing the night before, and you know, I just didn't prepare. He said, well, I figured something was up. But you know what? I know this is not like you, and I know you're going to do much better next time. So prepare for it. Whew. And I left. And you know, it scared me at the time to get called in by a professor. But I think back now, as a teacher who has had over 5,000 students in my own middle school classes, and I'm thinking, you know what? I was just, back then we didn't have E-numbers, we had Social Security numbers. I could have just been a Social Security number. There was no reason in the world why he had to call me in. He didn't. He just did that because he cared. He cared. And that meant so much to me. And I look back and thought, wow, what a lesson as a teacher to care so much for your students. And when you know something's not right, you jump on it right away. And you help those students, you know, straighten things out. Homecoming is an annual event here on campus. Of course, it's this weekend. For me, homecoming happens twice a week, all year long. And it's on Tuesday and Thursday morning when I walk into my 8 o'clock class in Buzzard Hall, and I look out at future teachers, college students, who I have the privilege, the real privilege, of being able to teach. That, for me, is homecoming over and over and over again. After I graduated from here, was hired by Charleston Junior High School. Some of you, a lot of my alumni are here, know it more or better today as the middle school. But back then it was Charleston Junior High. And for those of you, I don't know, how many of you are education majors in here? How many of you are going into middle school? You have my sympathy. No, actually, it was 38 years of a labor of love. But you talk to high school teachers and you talk to elementary teachers and you say middle school and they go, I don't know, those kids are crazy. You know, well, the principal that hired me referred to it as a temporary stage of insanity. That's middle school, where you have to have what we call a tolerance for turbulence. And because every day things are, and model, we talk about this in my own classes. You have a student who's a model student, a wonderful student in class. They walk out in the hallway and they trip somebody. The same day, you know, within a few minutes. And you ask them, why do you do that? They say, oh, I don't know. I don't know. And you know, they're right, they don't know. It just kind of goes with that age group, But again, we call the temporary stage of insanity, where you need a tolerance for turbulence. But in my mind, it's the most enjoyable, rewarding age to work with. I loved it. I spent my entire career, 38 years, not only in the same school, but in the same classroom. So you have to really like it if you're going to spend that much time doing one thing, and I did. I have to tell you my story. This is my all-time favorite middle school story, most embarrassing story. Maybe we'll edit it out. I don't know. We're taping here. This happened, I happen to have many student teachers. This is typical middle school, typical junior high. We were going through a unit in life science, and we're getting ready to do that wonderful unit that you teach in life science to middle school children on human reproduction. So what did this veteran teacher do? He did what every veteran teacher does. I gave it to my student teacher. It's all yours. Go for it. So she went in for one day. It was one day in class. She went in the prep room behind the front of the class in the sink, and she filled up a test tube with 1 teaspoon of water. And she brought it out and just set it on the table before the kids came into class. They came in or into the lesson. At the appropriate time of the lesson, she takes this test tube, holds it up. She says, "Isn't it amazing that in 1 teaspoon of semen, there are 500 million sperm cells?" It was real quiet, just like this. And all of a sudden, this hand goes up. And I'm thinking, oh no, please no. No, please no. And this little boy says, "Did you get that from Mr. McCollum?" Well, the rest of the class did exactly what you're doing right now, you know. And after everybody got up off the floor, and she was very cool. She was very cool. She said, "No, Mr. McCollum is not making any sperm donations today." So, and she went right on with the lesson. Now, how would you do as a student teacher in that same situation? Middle school people, that's what you're getting ready to do. That's what's coming. We did crazy things. We tied bicycle rubber inner tubes together and made a gigantic rubber band, and we put kids on skateboards and shot them across the rec room floor to demonstrate Newton's laws. And I dressed up as a beatnik for a poetry coffee house, and then as one of Santa's elves for a grammar jingle that we sang Christmas, a Nazi doctor for a Holocaust unit, and put on surgical scrubs, and we got into more of the human body unit, and an astronaut suit from Johnson Space Center when we went in talking about space travel and so on. So it's fun. It was never ever a job. And if you find something that you have a passion for, that you really enjoy, that you can make a career out of it, you will never, ever have a job. You have a career, but not a job. And driving to and from school every day for 38 years, I saw lots of people that had jobs, and they hated it. I never considered mine to be a job. It was a profession. And I know not all of you are going into education, but whatever field that you go into, I hope that it is never a job for you, that it's a passion. It's as one of our distinguished alumni several years ago spoke at a banquet. He said, "You know, I consider myself the most fortunate person because my passion, my profession, and my hobby are one and the same." Wow. What a wonderful outlook on life. Passion, profession, and hobby are one and the same. I'm going to ask you to do something right now. I want you to take a few moments. I want you to turn to people sitting by you, and I want you to think of your favorite teacher, your all-time favorite teacher, and I want you to come up with one word that you can describe some characteristic of that teacher. Okay? And then we're going to hear from some of you. So let's take a minute to do that. Just turn to somebody around you. One word to describe your favorite teacher. Okay, time's up. Now, you know, thinking back, might have been your kindergarten teacher, might have been your most recent, maybe it's a teacher that you have right now here at the university. But in one word, how would you describe the best qualities of that teacher? Just anyone.
Persistent.
One at a time. Persistent.
Understanding.
Understanding.
Open-minded.
Okay.
Fun.
Dynamic.
Entertaining.
Energetic.
Dedicated.
Okay. All of these great traits, and you know they apply to teachers, but in each of your careers, whatever they might be, you know those same qualities you bring with you, you're going to be very, very successful. I look back over my own life, and I've had very significant teachers all along the way, and they haven't necessarily been classroom teachers. 2317 Southwestern Avenue, Chicago. My parents, my very first teachers. And I don't know if you even remember this, it goes way back. They purchased my first, or I should say redeemed, S&H green stamps for my very first desk. These are things, when you go to the store, you get, you know, now you get discounts on things. You get these little stamps, and then you get a bunch of stamps. You come through with bags full of stamps and you buy your groceries. Then you take them to these places, you can redeem them for merchandise. Well, they couldn't afford a desk for me, so they got out of S&H green stamps. You go in my office at home today, I've still used that same desk. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, because they knew it was important that I have my own place to learn. So thanks, Mom and Dad. You were my very first teachers, and you taught me how to learn. Pickard Elementary School, Chicago, just off Cermak. I had a teacher named Mr. Dowell. Mr. Dowell was a great guy. Prior to Christmas, he invited our whole class of 30 students to his apartment. He and his wife, it was different back then. We all came to his apartment to help him decorate his Christmas tree with string, the first time I ever, with string popcorn and string cranberries. And we had all this cranberries and popcorn all over, and then the circuit blew, and it went dark. And you can imagine, you know, a room full of 7th, 8th grade kids, all the lights out, it gets kind of crazy. When lights came on, smashed cranberries, smashed popcorn and carpet and this whole thing. But, you know, he was very understanding. He taught me how to forgive, because he forgave all of us. He cared so much about us. It's no big deal. Home at Flossmoor High School, 1965, long time ago. Miss Dresden, she's my English teacher. Thank you, Miss Dresden. I remember writing an essay, turn it in, it came back. She had more comments written. Her comments were longer than my essay, but they were glowing comments. And she just instilled in me the joy of writing, which I very much enjoy to this day, being able to write. Thanks to, again, Homewood Flossmoor High School, Ron and Diane Seegers. I thank you. They were my counselors from our church youth group. And they knew that, you know, all the turbulent times that kids go through in high school, and they were there. They were understanding. They taught me patience and understanding. Life Science Building, EIU, Dr. Kepler. You heard that story already. He taught me how to care. He was a teacher, taught me how to care. Charleston Junior High School. This is before it became a middle school. Mr. John Dively. Thank you, Mr. Dively. He was my very first principal. He was the one who hired me. Just passed away this last year. He was a wonderful man. He was an institution here in Charleston. His son is in our department. When he would talk, you would think he had nails for breakfast. I mean, you didn't want to cross his path. But he was a very caring man. And he taught us how to be tough and how to be tender at the same time. To be tough and tender. He would always, whatever the issue came up, his question was always, what's best for the students? What's best for the students? And that was his focus, and that has meant so much to me. And finally, room 109, Charleston Middle School, and several of you out here, thank you to my former students. You were my very best teachers. So much that I've learned from you. Things that you've had to deal with in your lives. All those things. You've taught me strength, you've taught me patience, you've taught me so much, and I appreciate that. Well, let's get back to talk about Honors College again. The fact that you're here, you are very, very bright. You are the cream of the crop. But is that all that it's going to take to be successful in life? And I'll tell you right now, there's something that's even more important than that. And that is simply what we call your people skills and how you relate and how you get along with people. You can be the most brilliant person in the world, but if you don't have those proper people skills of getting along with others, working together in a team, you're not going to come anywhere near to achieving the success that you would hope to achieve. I think of one of my favorite television shows is the Big Bang Theory. Have any theories? Any Big Bang Theory fans in here? Great show, funny. You know, you can see why it's on late at night. Some of the themes on there, but it's a funny show, and those four guys are brilliant. But what character on there has the best people skills? Penny. That's Penny does. Penny, I mean, and you know, she doesn't have anywhere near, the knowledge of any of them. Yet she relates so well. And she's kind of like a mother to all of them. And it's just a fun show. Do people feel better about themselves when they are around you? Or do they feel like they're anxious to leave? I mean, do you make people feel better just when you're with them? Do you just talk all about yourself, or do you really relate to them very well? I think both of our children, we're so proud of it, and I've just used my son as an example, Kyle. He's in law school right now. He's a graduate of Eastern, both a bachelor's and a master's in political science. And he's in law school at Southern Illinois right now. When he was in Charleston, he was working at the tropical fish store over at Pet Tropics. And we knew he was a people person. We knew he had great skills. He's very, very bright. Very, very bright. And on the dean's list, all those things. He got those genes from mom's side, I think, not mine. But he had such good people skills, and he would be in a store and customers come in just asking for that very nice young man. It wasn't just because he knew he had so much knowledge, because he related to them so well. He's been asked, now in laws, because of just getting around, he's been asked to serve as a campaign director for a woman down in Mount Vernon right now, running for a state's attorney down there. He wanted to get kind of involved in a number of different ways, and the opportunity came along for him to be involved in the speaking circuit for one of the presidential candidates in our election that happened to be going through Southern Illinois. And as he had that responsibility, and the night came for this big talk that and all these people in the audience, and the senator's in the back room. He's in the gymnasium. He's in the weight room at this high school where he's going to be speaking to, and it was Kyle's responsibility to go in and talk to him and visit with him. Now, how many of you? What would you say if you had the opportunity to sit down next to President Obama or Governor Romney and talk? Would you be a little intimidated? Would you be, what do I say? Well, he walked in the room, and there the candidate was just had some weights in a weight room doing this. And my son says, "Senator, I can see you're getting pumped up for your talk tonight." And it was so smooth. And he related so well, and they talked about family, talked about all the things. And the senator didn't ask him what his grades were, what his grade point average was, what his HCT score, anything like that. They just related so well. And that is what makes him, and I know he's going to be incredibly successful in whatever he chooses to do because he has such good people skills. I've had the opportunity to be around some very influential people. I have been truly, truly blessed as a teacher to be able to come in contact with people, enormous, just amazing things that they've done. Serving on a national commission, riding back from a meeting, sitting on a bus next to Representative Louis Stokes. Now, that name may not ring a bell to you, but this is a gentleman, African-American gentleman, who retired after 30 years in the U.S. House of Representatives. There are buildings all across this country named after him. He's a giant, a giant. What do you say to him? We talked about his grandkids, talked about our families. We had the most wonderful conversation. Another trip coming back, sitting next to Catherine Sullivan, Space Shuttle Commander Catherine Sullivan. and sitting there and talking again, just being able to relate and to talk, not trying to, what can I do to try to impress her? No, no, no. Just want to visit, just find out, we're all humans, things that we have in common. We were trying to navigate this bus through downtown Chicago, and we were kind of joking about, is it easier to navigate a bus through downtown Chicago or to land a space shuttle? She said, well, I know the answer to that question. Okay. Leon Letterman, getting a call from a Nobel Prize-winning physicist and talking on the phone and being able to just converse. Those are important skills that you developed, but they're things that are going to carry you so much farther than your grade point average or your ACT score or anything else. Just being able to relate to people. Your future success is based on your ability to work with people and to inspire people, to inspire them. Those skills are what we call, and you're hearing more and more about, 21st century skills. 21st century, you're going to hear it embedded into the new Common Core standards. You're going to hear a lot about Common Core. Things like teamwork. My question to you, would you, if you were the boss, would you hire you? If not, why not? Would you hire you? So being able to work as a team. Being such bright individuals as you are, you're probably used to doing a lot of things on your own. And that's okay. It gets you where you are. But you're entering a world where you are going to be, there are very few occupations you're going to be entering that you're not going to be working as a part of a team. Even in teaching. Teaching has become a team sport. You're no longer one person in the room surrounded by students. No, there's several adults in there. And you're working with all these other adults, special ed teachers, one-on-one aides, you name it, and you're working together as a team. The way you apply your knowledge, it's one thing to be very knowledgeable, but you be very knowledgeable and go on Jeopardy. But you're not going to get a job having that kind of knowledge. You're not going to, that's not a career path, playing Jeopardy. It's being able to apply all that knowledge. How do you apply it? And critical thinking. Very, very important. That you can think on your feet. You're given a problem, figure out how to solve it. I love the movie Apollo 13. And how many of you have seen the movie? It goes back. There's a scene in the movie where, you know, the carbon dioxide unit is not working properly, starting to build up, and they have to come up with a way of solving the problem with the stuff that's there. So the engineers on the ground crew come in, dump the stuff on the table, which are all components, and they say, okay guys, you need to figure out how to put how you can make this work, and we're going to radio it up and let them know. The option of not is not an option. It has to be done. So being able to think on your feet. Critical thinking, very, very important. 5 years from now, you will be a product of two things. The books that you read and the people that you hang around with. Okay? You will be a product of those two. One of the books I'm reading right now, it's a wonderful book by the author Tony Wagner. It's called Creating Innovators. And what Tony has done is he's interviewed some of the most creative people in the world. Interviewed their parents, interviewed what is it about these people that, people like the person that developed the iPhone, people, all these people that have done some really creative things. What is there a common element in there that we want to create it, because those are the people that we're looking for. Creative thinkers, future entrepreneurs, all that. And, he found three common things of all the people he talked to. The value of play. They valued their play time when most of them, in fact, many of them were one of the Montessori schools. The value of play, not highly structured, but just being able to given the opportunity by their parents to just kind of be creative. I'm not sure. Legos, wonderful, wonderful tool for being creative. You can never get too old for Legos. It's not like a video game that you're just passively involved. You have to really think and create something. So play, passion, having a passion for what they did, and in addition to having a passion, they realized there was a purpose. They saw value in what they did, how they're basically helping other people with what they did. We all want to be successful. I will challenge you to be something more than just successful, and that's to be significant. You can be successful, make tons of money in whatever career you choose to go into, but being significant is what people are going to remember you by years after you're gone. You are truly significant. Be a lifelong learner. How many of you would go to a doctor who, from his or her last day of medical school, never opened up another book, ever went to any kind of seminar, any type of advanced training, and all he or she knows is what they learned in medical school? Would you go to that doctor? I wouldn't. Okay. I want someone who's keeping up with it, who's always reading. You know, there was a time I thought that once you graduate, that was kind of like a license, you didn't have to read anymore. No, it's just getting started. So after you leave this great institution, it's just getting started for you. Be a lifelong learner. Set your goals. Most people don't set goals. A couple months from now, December 31st, a lot of people are going to be setting New Year's resolutions. 99% of them, within a few days, they forget about them, okay? Because they're not goals. They were wishes. They were not goals. If you set a goal, you put a timetable on it, you set up ways of working toward it, ways you can kind of monitor your progress toward it. You have short-term goals, long-term goals. You have a plan. It's not just wishful thinking. If you're having trouble reaching a particular goal that you have, maybe there's something that's getting in your way. Maybe you don't even know what it is. I'll give you a little activity right now to do. And Dr. Stomach, if you could help me just pass it. We're going to pass some slip of paper out. I want you, don't read them, just leave them upside down on your desk. And if you've seen this before, please don't say anything, just kind of play along with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think that's 5. Leave them upside down.
Thank you.
And if you've seen this before, keep it to yourself. Okay. You are welcome. Some of you might be getting 2 of them here. Oh, you have a break? Okay, great. Still coming around here. Okay.
We need 2 over here. Thank you. Good.
Got one? Okay. Need them here. 1, 2. So we've got, well, we need 2 more. 1, 2. That's what, you have one? Okay. Raise your hand if you don't have one. Would you hand that? Oh, I think they're still coming. They're coming around. Okay. Leave them upside down. Leave them upside down. Now, is there anyone that doesn't have one? Okay, perfect. On the count of 3, here's what I'd like you to do. On the count of 3, when I say 3, I want you to turn them over, read it. Just read it quickly, and then turn it back upside down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, as soon as you get through, just turn it upside down. Okay. Now, turn it back over again. Read it. This time as you're reading it, count the times you see the letter F. F. As soon as you're done, turn it upside down. Okay, turn it upside down. Now, how many do you see? How many F's?
4.
You saw 4. How many? 6. How many? 3. How many? 6. 3. 3. 3. How many saw 3? How many saw 4? How many saw 5? How many saw 6? Okay. Those that saw 3, if you raise your hand. If you saw 3, come on up here, bring it up here. I promise not to embarrass you. Bring it, just stand right here. I need somebody who saw 4. Somebody, not always put their hands up. Anybody saw 4? Come on up there. Bring it up with you. 5. Somebody saw 5. Now, we had a lot of hands before. Anybody saw 5? No 5? 5, come on down here. Okay, keep them upside down. Keep them upside down. Don't peek. Somebody saw 6. 6, come on up. Yeah, stand right here. Turn over. 3, 4, let's have you over here. You're 6 and 5, right? Okay. Now, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Turn them over, read them again, count the times you see the letter F. And then turn over. Okay, how many?
4.
4. How many?
4.
4. How many?
3.
3. How many?
6.
6. Okay, I want you to switch them. Switch them. Read them again. How many?
4.
How many?
5.
5. How many? 3. 6. Did you just switch? There's something going on here. Switch them again. Switch them again. Last time. Okay. Read it again. Number of times you see the letter F. How many times?
I need to count this like 10 times. Hang on. I see 4.
4.
6.
6.
3.
6. Okay. Now, here's what I want you to do. All of you, look at your papers. Now, count the number of times you see the letter F, but don't skip over the word of. Count them again. How they magically appeared on that piece of paper. How did that work? Give them a hand. Thank you. You can take that home and try it on your roommate. Okay, make them feel dumb. Why did some see? So why didn't you see all 6? There are 6 of them there, by the way. Why didn't you see 6 all at first?
They don't need the words, you overlook them.
Yep. Now, the F has 2 sounds. There's the F as in Frank, as in files, as in finished, as in scientific. And there's also the F in of, which is an OV sound, which is a totally different sound. And the way we read, we just kind of skip over those. So often we read by sound rather than just looking at the letters. So the point of this whole exercise is that there are things right now that you don't see that, just like the F, that may be standing in front and keeping you from accomplishing something that's really important that you want to accomplish. So the important thing is to find out what those things are. We call them scotomas, like a blind spot in the eye. You can't see it. It's there, but you can't see it. You all have a blind spot when you drive. You learn that in driver's ed. It's there, but and it's good to have, if you have a mentor, someone you can really trust, that you can be very open with, and find out what are those things that may be keeping you from really accomplishing what you want. And I don't mean just now as freshmen in this honors forum, but all the way through your years here and beyond, as you set goals for what you're going to do for your life. Be willing to take risks. Real important. You'll find out the most successful people in the world are risk takers. Be willing to fail. Now, I'll back up and say by risk, I don't mean foolish risks. I don't mean, jump out top of Stevenson Tower just as a risk. You know what's going to happen. That's not risk, that's dumb. But a healthy risk that's willing to kind of put yourself out there. It was a risk for me to accept coming here to talk to you tonight, make a fool of myself. Okay. It was a risk for someone. I tell you, there's nobody in this room that was more shy than I was. I talked to guys at my first meeting of 20 guys on 5th floor, Stevenson, as an RA. My face was red, my throat was, just my heart. I was talking to guys in the dorm. So if you feel that way now, you can get over it. But be willing to, again, be willing to take risks. Be willing to fail. Don't fear it. Do we have any pole vaulters in here? How does a pole vaulter know that he or she has gone as far as they can? They fail 3 times in a row. They knock that bar down 3 times in a row. Does that mean they failed? No. That means now they know how far they've gone. Okay. So be willing to fail. I have a quote here. I have, and it's got all kinds of holes in it because it's on my bulletin board at home. So 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bylines, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. Mark Twain. Okay, pretty good advice. Again, make your passion, your profession, your hobby one and the same. For those of you that are going into education, or for those of you that may be like I did, change my major, and don't be afraid to change your majors. We talked about this. One of the reasons you take so many classes early that expose you to lots of different areas is because you may find, as I did, as my wife did, as my son did, as my daughter did, hey, there's some areas out here that look even more interesting, and they've gone on and love what they do for their career. So don't be afraid. Don't think there's something wrong if you change your major. I wouldn't be changing it 3 or 4 times a year all the way, but be exposed to lots of things. For those of you that are entering education, you're entering during a very exciting, dynamic time. Lots of things happening. We're talking a common language now called Common Core across the whole country. We're really finding out what are the most important things that our students learn. And you're going to be hearing more and more. Those of you in education, you're going to be hearing more about Common Core in your classes. All the new technologies, guys, all these new toys to play with. I mean, there's just cool stuff out there that can enhance teaching. It doesn't take the place of a teacher. In fact, I saw a quote once said, any teacher that can be replaced by a robot should be. Right, they should be. But if you're a good teacher, you don't have to worry about being replaced. I consider education to be the most noble of all professions. Now, that's not a put down to anyone else. I just think that when you are entrusted with the most precious possession that parents have, their children, that's an awesome responsibility. You can make them or break them. You're molding them. You can encourage them to succeed, or you convince them that they don't know anything. It's up to you. That's an awesome responsibility. And if you're not serious about it, don't do it. We need people in all these other occupations too. We need them. But if you're considering education, realize what you're getting into. It's an awesome responsibility, and I think the most rewarding and noble of all professions.